Looking ahead over the next 3 to 5 years, can you give me some predictions about the media landscape?
Yeah, look, I think we have to acknowledge that consumer technology is moving faster now than it's ever moved in probably the history of mankind, but our time in this industry. Um, and it gets back, I think, a little bit to the role of research, where now more than ever, we not only need to do sort of the historical part of Nielsen of research of paying attention to what's gone on in the past and what's going on today, but we need to be thinking about what's going on in the future. One great thing that we have at our disposal is a Time Warner Media Lab, which is downstairs in Time Warner Center. So we actually have a research facility 17 floors away, where we actually have installed in one of the living room settings all of the latest technology, the new gaming systems, the new over-the-top systems. We have a 55-inch smart TV with automatic content recognition, and the ability to use that to keep us smart about the future and do tests where we just put people in there and watch them watch TV in a natural setting is sort of where we need to go. Look, I think we've proven to ourselves that linear TV is always going to be command the lion's share of consumption. In spite of all of the predictions, that hasn't happened. And again, it's a wonderful thing for us to see something like the NBA playoffs that we're in the midst of, that we air on TNT. Linear ratings are up year to year. Streaming minutes are up year to year. So there's no challenge. It's not as if one is eroding the other. So I think we're going to continue to see that. Actually made some notes. Look, I think we're going to have to continue to react to the consumer demand to get content where they want it, on the device they want it. Some of my friends in the industry know I'm a diehard hockey fan. I had a client dinner last night, and I watched the Ranger game on the NBC Sports streaming app on the train home. On the iPhone, the picture quality was fabulous. The streaming was fabulous. And I think all we're doing as an industry is we're building up consumer demand for more of that. And we got to play to that. We can't think about walling stuff off. I think we're seeing a really interesting change from DVR to VOD. I think that's going to continue, and I think that's something that's actually really good for advertisers, and it's also really good for media companies. And then I think the last thing is we'll get smarter about this idea of transacting off of client marketing targets and letting demographics. They'll still continue to have a role in our world, but I just think over time it'll be a less and less important role.
What keeps you up at night? What about research or media has you thinking at night?
You know, I think our business model is sound, but I think we need to always be innovating. Whether that's us as a research department launching new products that our salespeople are able to monetize, and I think sort of keeping up with being able to, in a pragmatic way, innovate in an organization is something I worry about. And I think I worry about, and it's something we talked about earlier. Typically, research people have been very well trained in methodology and in data. And I think more and more we need to train research people in the art of consulting and the art of sort of how do you maintain a great internal client relationship with a CEO of your company. And I worry that we can find people who do both well, because you don't want someone consulting who doesn't have good instincts and good data skills. But on the other hand, if you have someone who has good instincts and good data skills but can't tell, it's like a doctor who can't tell you what's the matter with you. That's a big miss. So I worry about that, because I've always been a big believer in the role of research. and in researchers' ability to play a bigger role within organizations that I think we typically want to sketch out for ourselves. So those are two things. I sleep pretty well, though.
With the industry changing so quickly, how do you keep ahead of the trends? What are your secrets?
So I have two secrets. Because I'm actually a technology laggard. If I didn't have a cell phone for work on weekends, I'd go out without my cell phone. But two things. One is I'm lucky enough on my staff to have a couple of technology leaders, people who are always trying the newest thing. I mentioned before we have the Time Warner Media Lab, and we have a commitment with the Media Lab to make sure that always has the latest technology. And then the other thing, and I think this is really important, is I'm a voracious reader of stuff about our industry. We're lucky enough that there are lots of trade magazines, there are lots of online newsletters, and as much as I can keep up with it, I read this stuff and I think about this stuff, and I try to portray the impact of something I read on our business. And I think that just sort of keeps you abreast. I think those are the ways I try to do this.